Yo, what's going on, my dudes? Today we've just made this track here that is inspired by Traumer and his minimal house, minimal deep tech kind of style. Been loving his tracks lately, so I thought might as well do something different. Before we get into the breakdown of this track, I thought I might take the time to introduce myself. My name is Luke. I've been producing and DJing now for 11 years. I started this channel because I wanted to help other producers improve their skills. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing or leaving a comment down below. I respond to all of my comments and I love hearing what you guys have to say. So enough of me now, let's jump into Ableton. Starting off right at the top, we have our kick drum. A nice fat thumpy kick drum. The only processing we have is a little glue compressor and two auto filters that are coming in towards the second drop. So if you're new to the channel, I think it's important to tell you that usually we color code our tracks, and red is usually our bass groups, drums are yellow, synths are green, effects are purple, and vocals are usually any color, but today we've made them white. So if we jump into our bass group, you'll see that we have 4 different bass lines. And essentially what we're doing is we're creating a little bit of a call and response with our bass group and adding a little bit of variation. So if I solo it, so you'll hear that our bass lines are kind of playing off one another. Starting at the very top, we have a basic operator synth that is just a saw wave, and essentially what he's doing is he is just kind of gliding in on the first beat. Right underneath him, we have an instance of silence that I've frozen and I've made an audio file, and essentially what this guy is just a sub bass, so he is just a sine wave that is gliding 1 octave down. As you can see, we've already applied the sidechain to him, and he's just adding a little bit of variation to this top operator bass that we have. Underneath, we have another operator bass, but instead of a saw wave, this is a square wave. Just to change things up a little bit. Underneath him, we have another operator synth that is a very plucky saw wave. And in terms of our processing on our bass there, we have a little glue compressor and we have an auto filter that is essentially filtering out the lower mid frequencies. Because in this track, we have a lot of lower mid frequencies in our synth layers, we don't want frequencies to clash, and hence why I also processed this kick drum outside of the bass layer, because I didn't want that kick drum to also get its low mid sucked out, essentially. So underneath, we have our drum group. So at the top, we have this hat layer, followed by this little one-shot glitch. We have a closed hat. We have a snare drum. We also have 2 clap layers. One very low in volume, and the other one carrying the weight. We also have our main hi-hat here. We have this percussion groove, and that is playing on the lower mid frequencies and the mid frequencies. And we have a hi-hat for variation that is just coming in every now and then. If I solo our hi-hats, you'll see exactly what I mean. We also have a ride that is kind of just adding an extra layer of hats to the drop, which is also very low in volume. And then at the very end, we have a snare roll. So starting off at the top, we're going to look at our synth group. And as you can see, we have a lot of synths going on here. All together, they sound like this. So I used a lot of VST plugins to get the results here. And I had to freeze a lot of these guys because I was using a VST plugin and an instance of Tantra for, I think, like 5 or 6 different instruments. And eventually my CPU just couldn't handle it. So yeah, we have this pad at the top here, which was just a normal pad from a sample loop. And then we put it through Tantra and it's jiggled it up quite a lot. As you can see with the left and right here, the echo, the ping pong echo. Right underneath, we have this synth. That also came directly from Tantra, and the Korg M1. Really stoked with this. It's adding a nice texture layer on top of our little acid kind of synth that we'll get to just now. Right underneath, we have a bounced version of the Juno that also went through Tantra. We have another instance of the Juno that was bounced through Tantra. I really like the original preset of that. It sounds like something Chris Dussy would use. Underneath, we have the chord dub. And he's coming in at the end of every 4 bars. So next we have this little synth one shot over here. And as you can see, we've sent a fuckload of reverb and delay to him. He's sounding really cool in the mix. Really wide, also because of our delay send, we've put it on ping pong. So it's really playing around in the stereo field when it gets sent through that delay. Next, we have a very complicated synth, but probably one of my most favorite elements in this track. As you can see, we also have a fuckload of effects on this thing. Absolutely fucking love it. If I turn all of these effects off, you are going to hear what this originally sounded like. So what we've done here is we've used a wavetable synthesizer with the formant group, put it on AEIOU, and essentially we are automating with an LFO the wavetable position. So as you can see, it's bouncing up and down there. And this is creating a lot of movement with the synth, and we can play with the ADSR a little bit. But it sounds good as it is. Next, we've got an instance of erosion to add a bit of texture. Next up, we have a phase mistress, which is also a brilliant plugin for phasing. This is just giving us way more modulation too. And next we have an auto filter that's just being used for the breakdown. We have a reverb. We have another reverb that is being automated when the drop is coming in during the breakdown. And we have another auto filter to get rid of those unwanted bass frequencies. Underneath, we have a pad texture. He's just making a really nice texture underneath the whole mix. And next up, we have an instance of silence that I've also bounced out to audio file. So next up, we have our effects, and there isn't much happening with our effects, but we do have 1 or 2 things happening. We've got this instance of silence. And just before the drop, he's also acting as a little bit of an uplifter. We also have this reverbed clap, which is really, really, really helping the clap stick out when the drums come in and when the drop comes in. We also have a little crash. So sending a lot of reverb and delay to that guy. And we also have this little shaker, which has got a lot of reverb and delay on it. Next, we have our vocals. Concentrate. So this is actually my voice, believe it or not. I'm not a singer by any means, but every now and then I just think of a nice vocal that would suit the track. And I literally recorded this off my iPhone. So I encourage you guys to do the same whenever you've just got, almost like a vocal hook or anything you want to put in your vocals. Even if it's a synth, you can go like, wow, wow, record it on your iPhone and then throw it into your Ableton project. And now you've kind of got like an idea of what you want. If I take off the effects, you can hear how much noise is happening. Concentrate. So you can hear there's that horrible concentrate noise that's going on there. And what we did to get rid of that noise is we used a gate. So with this gate, anything underneath this threshold is going to be cut off completely. Concentrate. Which is basically just leaving our voice. However, we can still hear a little bit of noise still coming through there. So we put on an auto filter because that noise it sounded like it was in the low frequencies. Concentrate. And a little bit of reverb. Concentrate. Actually, a lot of reverb, but it does the job. And at the very bottom, we have a little vocal breath. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this whole track, guys. I'll play it back quickly so you guys can have another final listen to it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up or comment down below. This project is going to be available on my Patreon too, so you can go ahead over to my Patreon. The link will be in the description and you can go ahead and download this project. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace.